Chapter 1. A Quiet Morning Until. It was a perfectly normal Saturday morning in Willow Bend, the kind of cul-de-sac community where lawns were edged with military precision and trash cans disappeared like magic before the sun was fully up. Tom Callahan, a newly retired firefighter, stood barefoot on his porch, coffee in hand, proudly admiring the latest addition to his house, a brand new North Carolina state flag, gently fluttering in the breeze. "Looks good, huh, Max?" he said to his Labrador, who wagged his tail approvingly. Tom had served 30 years saving people from burning buildings. He wasn't the kind to pick a fight, but he was proud of where he came from. And that flag meant something to him. That's when she came. Karen Withers, HOA president for the last 8 years, self-appointed guardian of aesthetics and order, approached with that all-too-familiar clipboard tucked beneath her arm and a walk that screamed, "Rules first, logic later." Chapter 2. The Karen Complaint Machine. "Tom," she called out, eyes already narrowed at the flag. "We have a bit of a situation." Tom turned slowly, already bracing for whatever was about to come out of her mouth. "That flag," she pointed, "is not regulation." Tom raised an eyebrow. "It's the North Carolina state flag." Karen gave a tight smile, the kind that usually preceded passive-aggressive warfare. HOA guidelines are very clear. Only the official Willow Bend flag may be flown in front-facing areas. Page 14, Section 3, Paragraph 2. "I'm a North Carolinian," Tom replied calmly, "and this is still America." Karen jotted something on her clipboard. "I'll be issuing a notice of violation. It's not personal. It never was. Until it always became personal." Chapter 3. The Setup. What Karen didn't expect was for Tom to stand his ground. "No offense, Karen," he said, "but I think I'll keep it flying." By Monday morning, the whole block was buzzing. Some neighbors supported Tom. Others feared Karen's wrath. A few were just there for the entertainment. Then suddenly, things escalated. At 6:43 a.m. on a Tuesday, Karen submitted an official complaint to the HOA board. She claimed, "On the morning of July 14th, resident Tom Callahan removed the Willow Bend flag and replaced it with a non-approved banner in direct violation of our covenant. Evidence attached." The evidence? A grainy cell phone photo taken from behind a bush, showing the North Carolina flag flying proudly. But something was missing from the story. Something Karen didn't know yet. Chapter 4. The Security Camera. What Karen didn't realize was that Tom, like any good former firefighter with way too much free time, had recently installed a high-definition ring camera. And not just one. 4, one at the door, one facing the driveway, one on the side gate, and one directly across from the flagpole. On Thursday morning, Tom received a letter from the HOA with a $200 fine attached, violating display rules, removal of HOA property, and unauthorized hoisting. But instead of getting mad, Tom did what any modern American under attack by a clipboard-wielding tyrant would do. He uploaded the footage. Chapter 5. The Reveal. The video, which he posted to the community Facebook group with the caption, "Well, this is awkward," showed the following. 2:47 a.m. Karen walking briskly across Tom's lawn, hoodie up, clipboard in hand. 2:49 a.m. Karen climbing up on a garden stool to reach the flagpole. 2:51 a.m. Karen carefully removing the Willow Bend flag. 2:53 a.m. Karen walking off with it tucked under her arm. By 8 a.m., the post had over 300 comments, some highlights. "Not Karen staging a flag crime at 3 a.m. This is better than cable. Do HOA presidents get impeached? Justice for Tom's flag." Karen did not respond. Yet. Chapter 6. The HOA Emergency Meeting. By Friday, the HOA board was forced to call an emergency session. The clubhouse was packed. Residents were standing. Some brought snacks. Others brought copies of the HOA bylaws, ready to throw down. Karen arrived wearing large sunglasses and pretending to be on a phone call. No one bought it. The board chair, Diane, cleared her throat. "We are here today to discuss a very serious allegation against President Karen Withers." Karen finally looked up. "That video was taken out of context," she said sharply. "I was rescuing the flag from impending storm damage." "It was a clear night," Tom replied calmly. Karen sniffed. It was forecasted weather-related danger. Schooner murmurs spread like wildfire. Chapter 7, The Petty Gets Pettier. Over the next week, things got weirder. Karen posted in the neighborhood app, "Please be mindful of spreading false footage. Deep fakes are very convincing these days." She then claimed to have received anonymous threats, though no police report was filed. Meanwhile, Tom hosted a backyard BBQ called Flags and Ribs. Everyone was invited, even Karen. She did not attend. She did, however, report his grill to the fire marshal for being suspiciously smoky. The fire marshal laughed. Chapter 8, The Great Flag Exchange. In an unexpected turn of events, Tom's neighbor, Mrs. Chen, quietly hoisted the South Carolina flag on her porch the next day. Mr. Patel across the street raised the Texas flag. Soon, Willow Bend looked like a bizarre, patriotic UN meeting. Karen tried to cite everyone. The HOA board, under pressure, voted 5-2 to suspend Karen's authority pending investigation. It was the first time in Willow Bend history that someone had been benched for flag interference. Chapter 9. Karma Gets Creative. Two teenagers made a TikTok remix of Karen's ring footage, setting it to the Mission Impossible theme. It hit 1.2 million views. Local news picked up the story. Headline: Neighborhood watchdog caught in flag fiasco. Karen became a meme. She took a sabbatical from her duties, but not before claiming she was being persecuted for protecting suburban values. Chapter 10. The Banner of Victory. Tom kept flying the North Carolina flag. The HOA board quietly rewrote the bylaws to allow state and national flags as long as they were neatly displayed. Karen eventually returned to the neighborhood, quieter, humbled, and oddly fond of gardening. She never touched another flag again. As for Tom, he added a tiny plaque below his flagpole. This flag survived fire, wind, and a woman with a clipboard. Chapter 11. Karen's Return, Kinda. It had been 3 weeks since the Great Flag Incident, TM. Karen's sabbatical was more like a forced timeout, but she still prowled the neighborhood like a ghost in pastel cardigans. Minus the clipboard. Rumor had it, the HOA board confiscated it as part of her temporary suspension. She waved awkwardly at neighbors who stared a little too long. Children whispered stories like she was a campfire legend. She once stole a flag and tried to gaslight an entire subdivision. Karen didn't speak to Tom. She did, however, trim her hedges aggressively while glaring across the street. Chapter 12. The HOA board's internal drama. Inside the clubhouse, tensions were rising. Without Karen's iron rule, a power vacuum had formed. Diane, now acting president, was the peacekeeper, but others wanted to take advantage. Greg from Lot 18 proposed mandatory neutral paint tones by Q4. Linda from Lot 4 wanted rainbow flags banned for being too emotionally bright. And someone anonymously submitted a proposal titled, "No Shorts Above the Knee," a modesty initiative. Amanda, the youngest board member, whispered to Diane, "Karen might have been a tyrant, but at least she was predictable." Diane nodded solemnly. The crazy's always waiting. Chapter 13. The Fake Apology Letter. Then it happened. A message was slipped under every door. "Dear neighbors, I apologize for my actions. I was under great stress and regret causing division. I hope we can all move forward, in unity, under one flag. Sincerely, Karen Withers." The neighborhood chat exploded. She finally admitted it. Is this real? Why does it smell like lavender printer paper? Tom read the note, shrugged, and taped it on his fridge under a magnet shaped like a fire hydrant. But Karen, she denied writing it. "It's a forgery," she hissed. "My signature curls clockwise, not counterclockwise." Someone pointed out the signature looked like it was written in glitter pen. Another posted a meme. Karen holding a quill, looking guilty. Chapter 14. Tom's backyard gets upgraded. Tom, now a local legend, leaned into his fame. He added a second flagpole, one for the U.S. flag, a solar-powered spotlight for nighttime illumination, a bench underneath with an engraved plaque, "For all who were wrongly flagged." The HOA board didn't know what to do. Technically, everything was legal now. Karen watched from behind her blinds, muttering, "It's a flag cult." Chapter 15. The HOA re-election begins. It was election season. HOA president elections came every 2 years, and Karen was up for re-election. Despite everything, she submitted her candidacy. "I am still the most experienced," she announced in her email blast. "And experience beats emotion." Diane rolled her eyes. Amanda launched a petition to get Tom to run. At first, he refused. "I've fought fires, not Karen's." But the people insisted. A lawn sign appeared. "Tom 2025. For flags, for freedom, for neighbors." He gave in. Chapter 16. The debate. It was the most attended HOA debate in Willow Bend history. Chairs ran out. People stood. One guy brought popcorn. Karen came dressed in power beige. Tom wore jeans and a flannel. The contrast could not be clearer. Karen started with, "Rules are the foundation of civilization." Tom smiled and said, "Sometimes it's okay to fly what's in your heart, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone's mailbox." The crowd swooned. Karen brought up bylaws. Tom brought up birthday parties she shut down because of illegal balloon quantities. The final question? What would you do on day one? Karen, reinstate flag policy and remove unauthorized pole installations. Tom, buy everyone a burger. He won the debate in a landslide. Chapter 17, the vote heard around the block. On election day, Willow Bend showed up. Elderly residents in golf carts, teenagers with handmade Vote Tom shirts. Even Max the dog wore a little bandana that read, "Tom is my human." Final results? Tom, 81%. Karen, 13%. Spoiled ballots, 6%. Someone wrote in the flag itself. Karen disappeared for 48 hours. Rumors swirled that she was spotted muttering to the HOA handbook near the storm drain. Chapter 18. Tom's first act. Tom's first executive order as HOA president? No more fines for flags. All flags are welcome, state, national, or meaningful. Exceptions. Sports teams during playoff losses. He threw a block party called Flagstock, live music, barbecue, and a clothesline hung with many flags from every state. Karen stood at the edge of the party with crossed arms. Then someone handed her a paper flag that said, "Still part of the community." She didn't smile, but she didn't rip it up either. Chapter 19. The documentary crew. 6 months later, a local documentary crew knocked on Tom's door. "We're making a short film about community resilience and HOA uprisings. We'd love to interview you." Tom laughed. Karen was also interviewed, reluctantly. She wore sunglasses indoors and said, "I was protecting the neighborhood from entropy." The final cut included dramatic reenactments, footage of the infamous Ring video, a slow-motion shot of Tom raising the North Carolina flag set to triumphant music. It won an award at a local film festival. Chapter 20. Full circle, spring came again. Tom stood on his porch, coffee in hand, Max at his side. The flag waved. No drama, no clipboard in sight. Karen walked by. Gardening gloves on, a trowel in hand. She nodded at the flag. Tom nodded back. No words exchanged. But for Willow Bend, it was peace. For now. Chapter 21. Karen's comeback plan. Though Tom was now the HOA president, Karen had not truly accepted defeat. "Oh, I'm just a regular resident now," she said with a saccharine smile. But behind the smile, spreadsheets, binders, vision boards, her latest project, the Willow Bend Visual Unity Initiative, code name in her private folder, Operation Reflag. The plan, secretly pushed for a bylaw amendment that would beautify the neighborhood through coordinated flag design. In short, ban every flag but one. And who designed the one approved flag? Karen, of course. Chapter 22. The Innocent Survey. Residents received a flyer in their mailboxes. Neighborhood Survey. Would you support a simplified uniform flag design to promote unity and resale value? Options: yes, strongly. Yes, maybe, if it's beige. Tom got one and burst out laughing. Unity through beige? Not on my watch. He called an emergency board meeting. Chapter 23. Tom's response. Operation Colorburst. Tom wasn't just going to block the proposal. He was going to celebrate flag diversity. And so Operation Colorburst was born, a weekend mini-festival. Invite every resident to display any flag they loved. The more flags, the merrier. A banner went up. Flagapalooza, this Saturday. From Pride to Pineapple, wave it proud. Karen fumed. She posted a message on the HOA app. Reminder, too many flags can create wind-based hazards. Please consider community safety and fabric pollution. She received 94 laughing emojis. Chapter 24. Karen's Mysterious Allies. Karen wasn't working alone. Enter Bernice Platt and Gerald Snipes, two longtime residents with a passion for matching paint and quiet cul-de-sacs. Together, they formed the Traditional Values Committee, a three-member operation with a printer and a total of 22 followers on Facebook. Their mission? Restore visual order and eliminate decorative noise. Their proposed flag, beige with a thin gray line and a small image of a mailbox. It was described by one resident as the emotional equivalent of unbuttered toast. Chapter 25. The Petition That Backfired. Karen launched a petition to push the unified flag proposal to vote. She needed 30 signatures. She got 29. And then Max the dog signed it. Yes, someone used Max's paw print and the words, "In Woof We Trust." Karen, in a fit of rage, called the board to demand the 30th signature be validated. Diane calmly said, "I think Max represents a large portion of the emotional support population." The board voted. The petition was denied. Karen's shriek could be heard 3 blocks over. Chapter 26. The HOA spy game begins. Karen began leaving anonymous notes in neighbors' mailboxes. Your flag may be in violation. Friendly reminder, WBVUI. Residents started comparing notes and realized the handwriting was suspiciously neat. The smiley face always leaned slightly left, and they smelled faintly of lavender hand cream. Tom installed a new community camera facing the mailboxes. 3 days later, footage of Karen, hood up again, slipping notes like she was a suburban ninja. The video was titled, Karen, the Envelope Strikes Back. It hit 200K views overnight. Chapter 27. Local News Returns. The local news anchor, Heather from Channel 9, returned to Willow Bend. Last time she'd covered the Great Flag Fight. This time, neighborhood reflagging plot exposed. HOA hijinks continue. She interviewed Karen on her front lawn. Karen tried to deflect. I merely wanted to encourage cohesion. Heather smiled. Would you call removing 18 flags and replacing them with beige samples cohesion? Karen blinked. They were test swatches. The news segment ended with a dramatic zoom in on a tattered beige flag tangled in a tree. Chapter 28. Tom's mic drop moment. At the next HOA meeting, Tom came prepared. He had a slideshow of every flag flown in the neighborhood, testimonials from residents and Max who barked on cue, a printed quote from the U.S. Flag Code. And finally, he held up Karen's beige design and said, "This isn't unity, it's monotony." The room cheered. Karen whispered to Bernice, "They don't understand visual feng shui." Bernice whispered back, "We should have used taupe." Chapter 29. Karen's Last Desperate Move. Out of options, Karen made a bold, reckless decision. She drove through the neighborhood at 2 a.m. with her car trunk full of beige flags and started swapping again, house by house. She almost made it to Tom's, until she tripped over a gnome. His new security system activated, motion lights, a loudspeaker, and a fog machine. "Intruder alert," it blared. Karen screamed, stumbled into a bush, and accidentally pepper sprayed herself. Tom walked out in his robe, holding a fresh mug of coffee. "Morning, Karen." Chapter 30. The Resolution for Now. The next morning, the board met, this time with legal counsel present. Karen was officially banned from entering others' yards, restricted from distributing any physical materials, required to take a community cohesion workshop. She fumed, but she obeyed, eventually. That weekend, Flagapalooza went on as planned. Dozens of flags waved proudly. LGBTQ+, Black Lives Matter, military service, and sports teams, pineapple-themed house flags. And yes, even Max had his own tiny banner. Karen stayed inside. Watching? Plotting? Maybe. But for now, peace had returned, and the North Carolina flag flew higher than ever. Chapter 31. Karen Goes Soft, Allegedly. 3 weeks passed. Karen had been oddly quiet. No anonymous notes, no new initiatives, no stolen flags. She even baked cookies for the HOA meeting. No raisins, just chocolate chip. Tom was suspicious. Is this the calm before the clipboard? He muttered to Max. Karen began strolling the neighborhood, notepadless, wearing pastel sweaters and a smile. It's my soft era, she told Diane at the board meeting. Diane nearly choked on her water. Chapter 32. The Gossip Blitz. Without bylaws to weaponize, Karen turned to something more insidious. Gossip. It started small. At book club. Did you hear? Tom's second flagpole might be made of aluminum. Doesn't that corrode faster? Shame. At church brunch. I heard someone in this room is storing 2 gas cans in plain view. Code violation, technically. At the dog park. Isn't it odd that Max barks every time someone says Karen? Trained much? It was subtle, but it spread like spilled wine on beige carpet. Chapter 33. The HOA Facebook group. Someone, probably Karen, created a fake account named Concerned Neighbor 475. Posts included, "Are flags making our property values drop? Too much personal expression? Neighborhood confusion? Was Willow Bend better when things matched?" Tom replied calmly to each. Karen replied to herself with praise emojis. Eventually, Amanda posted, "Karen, we know it's you. Your Concerned Neighbor account still uses your Bitmoji." Karen was silent for 3 days. Chapter 34. The Curtain Incident. A new couple moved in. Jamie and Raoul. Lovely people. Friendly. And their curtains? Bright yellow. Within 48 hours, Karen sent them a welcome basket containing banana bread, a copy of the HOA handbook, a post-it reading, "Just FYI, Section 7.2 discourages harsh window tones." Jamie posted it on Nextdoor. Caption, "The HOA welcome wagon strikes again." The post went viral. Again. Chapter 35. Tom's Town Hall. Tom had had enough. He called a town hall meeting at the clubhouse. Topic: Let's talk about neighborliness. He opened with, "Being part of a community means letting people be themselves. It also means not using banana bread as a Trojan horse for passive aggression." Laughter. He proposed a kindness code. No anonymous complaints. All HOA concerns must go through official forms. Mandatory positivity jar at every board meeting. Karen would owe hundreds. The vote passed. Karen sat silently, then muttered, "Fascists." Chapter 36. The Great Casserole War. Karen shifted tactics once again. She began delivering casseroles to people she disagreed with. At first, residents were confused. Then they realized something. Each casserole had a message baked into the cheese. Tom received, "Unity is beige," formed from sliced olives. Amanda got, "Flags fade, friendships don't," spelled in croutons. Raul and Jamie received, "Color, Nakshakshan chaos," burned into the top with a culinary torch. People started photographing and cataloging them. Someone even made a Tumblr. KarenCasseroles.tumblr.com. Chapter 37. HOA Karaoke Night Chaos. Diane proposed a neighborhood karaoke night to ease tension. Karen signed up first. Her song, "You're So Vain." She sang it while staring directly at Tom. Tom responded with, "We're not going to take it." The entire room joined in. Karen left halfway through. The mic was dropped, literally. Chapter 38. The HOA Annual Report. Tom, in his first year as president, presented the annual report. Highlights: 0 flag fines. Record participation in community events. HOA newsletter renamed the Weekly Waiver. Karen demanded to know why her newsletter submission, a 3-page essay titled "Symmetry Saves Souls," was rejected. Amanda responded, "We're trying to keep readership above 0. Chapter 39. Karen's secret podcast. Under a pseudonym, Karen launched a podcast, The Order of the Yard. Topics included visual harmony, why matching mailboxes matter, such as flags that ruined my week, Guest episode Gerald Talks Grass Heights. It had 3 listeners. 2 were her other emails. But it got exposed when she accidentally posted an episode on the HOA Facebook group. She blamed Max. Chapter 40. Peace. Eventually, Karen slowed down. Maybe it was exhaustion. Maybe it was the cumulative karma weight of too many cheese message casseroles. Tom kept leading with kindness. Max kept barking at the word Karen. Flags flew, curtains stayed bright, and no one stole anything for 3 whole months. That in Willowbend was progress. Chapter 41, a new threat emerges. It started with a formal-looking envelope slipped into every mailbox. Proposal for strategic HOA integration. Willowbend Police Silver Pines Estates. Tom opened it, frowning. Silver Pines was the HOA across the creek, famous for uniform gray shutters, mandatory porch furniture, and a no decorations without permit clause. Diane gasped. Amanda dropped her coffee. Karen smiled. Finally, she whispered, someone speaks my language. Chapter 42. Meet Victoria Steele. Silver Pines HOA President Victoria Steele came to present the merge. She wore a gray pantsuit so stiff it could stand on its own. Her handshake was firm. Her smile was theoretical. She clicked through a slideshow titled Visual Discipline Shaka Community Success. Highlights included max 1 garden gnome per household. Free flags permitted only on federal holidays. Curtains white or whisper white. Noise limit 40 decibels after 7 p.m. Tom leaned over to Amanda and whispered, did she just propose banning laughter? Chapter 43. Karen joins. Team Victoria. Karen instantly aligned with Victoria. They started having strategy lunches. Soon after, Karen updated her porch to match Silver Pines' aesthetic. She created a flyer titled Why Merge Us Maturity, and she started greeting people with, have you read the proposal? The board was split. Some liked the promise of order. Others feared HOA fascism. Tom remained calm. On the outside. Inside, he was building a plan. Chapter 44. Operation Keep Bend. Weird Tom, Amanda, and Diane met late into the night. We need to remind people what makes Willowbend special, Amanda said. So they launched Operation KBW, Keep Bend Weird Tactics included. A Color Your Curb event. A community mural on the clubhouse wall, and a flag flash mob where everyone switched flags every hour for a day. Even Max wore 5 different bandanas. Karen filed 3 noise complaints. Chapter 45. Victoria's counter-move. Victoria responded with chilling precision. She mailed full-color pamphlets to every home. A world without clutter. Neutrality, the aesthetic of peace. Willowbend. Reimagine without the chaos. She even hosted a dry grass demo day where she explained the benefits of beige landscaping. No one came, except Karen. She took notes. Chapter 46. The HOA debate, Tom versus Victoria. The 2 presidents agreed to a town hall debate, moderated by Heather from Channel 9. Karen sat front row with a sign, Unity through Uniformity. Tom's sign, held by Amanda, Freedom looks better in color. Victoria opened with, Rules create dignity. Tom replied, so does letting your neighbor fly a flag without a 10-page permit. Crowd applauds wildly Victoria. Matching porches raise home value. Tom, connection raises home value. Want to see our potluck attendance? The audience laughed. Victoria did not. Chapter 47, the reveal. Then Amanda dropped the bombshell. She'd obtained internal documents from Silver Pines. Plans to enforce uniform garage door hues. A clause banning wind chimes. A proposed neighborhood observation squad. Red tattletale patrol. Residents were horrified. Even Karen looked uncomfortable at chime ban. Chapter 48. The vote. The merger proposal went to a community vote. Victoria personally handed out glossy yes brochures. Tom handed out mini pies. Guess who won hearts? Final count. No to merge, 83%. Yes to 15%. What is an HOA? 2%. Victoria left in silence. Karen, she dropped her clipboard into a recycling bin, dramatically, then took it back out. Chapter 49. The celebration. Tom hosted Flagstock 2.0 to celebrate. Live music, mismatched lawn chairs, kids on scooters, wind chimes galore. Amanda painted Max's fur in pastel swirls. Safe dye, no worries. The mural on the clubhouse now read, Harmony Through Variety. Karen showed up late, wearing a rainbow scarf. No one mentioned it. Everyone noticed. She didn't stay long, but she dropped off a note. I still think your garage door is slightly too cheerful. But the pie was good. K. Chapter 50. Peace with Personality. Weeks passed. Life returned to its lovely, chaotic rhythm. Flags waved. Curtains clashed. Lawn ornaments danced. And Karen, she was spotted humming while pruning her roses. Someone said she even complimented Jamie's yellow curtains. The HOA newsletter featured a new motto. Different colors, same block. And just beneath it, in smaller print, no beige landscaping unless requested in writing. Chapter 51. Karen goes off the grid, briefly. After the failed merger, Karen vanished. No HOA emails, no cryptic casserole deliveries, no new flag critiques. Amanda joked, did she get abducted by the HOA gods? Tom shook his head. Nope, she's scheming. Quiet Karen is the most dangerous Karen. But instead of schemes, Karen reappeared 2 weeks later. At yoga, outdoor yoga, wearing tie-dye leggings and a shirt that said, let it go, unless it's a violation. Chapter 52. The softening neighbors were stunned. Karen complimented Max's new red leash, helped Jamie move a planter, said thank you to the UPS guy. Even stranger, she didn't bring her clipboard to the HOA meeting. Instead, she brought gluten-free brownies. Tom took one, cautiously. Is this safe? Karen smiled. I've been reflecting. Amanda squinted. On what exactly? Karen looked to the horizon. On my legacy. Everyone braced for impact. Chapter 53. The Karen Manifesto. One morning, Diane found an envelope on her porch. Inside, a 12-page handwritten document titled Karen 2, Orani Order Through Compassion. Key points: replace citations with conversation notices. Create a community art corner on the bulletin board. Appoint a neighborhood mediator, not her. Host quarterly potlucks, mandatory for peace. Tom read it twice. Amanda read it while eating popcorn. It ended with, I still believe in structure, but now I also believe in second chances. Even for myself. And flags. Even the pineapple ones. Corso. Chapter 54. Skepticism and Side Eyes. While some residents welcomed the new Karen with cautious optimism, others weren't buying it. Bill Henderson said, this smells like a re-election stunt. Mrs. Chen said, I'll believe it when she goes 1 month without correcting mailbox tilt. Even Max growled softly when she walked by. Though that could have been unrelated. Karen carried on, undeterred. Chapter 55. The HOA Garden Project. Karen proposed converting a dead patch of grass near the clubhouse into a community garden. At first, no one knew how to respond. Then Jamie said, I mean, it's better than the beige flag. So they voted. The project passed. Karen organized composting stations, a flower rotation schedule, garden gloves with embroidered initials for every volunteer. Amanda, impressed, whispered to Tom, is she actually good at this? Tom replied, that's what scares me. Chapter 56. The Podcast Redemption Arc. Karen was invited onto the local HOA podcast, Suburban Sound Waves, to talk about her transformation. She said, leadership is about growth, and sometimes growth means letting go of the flagpole and picking up a watering can. The host asked if she had regrets. Karen paused. I regret not listening, and maybe climbing a man's flagpole at 3 a.m. The clip went viral again, but this time, people cheered. Chapter 57, a surprise nomination. At the end of year HOA celebration, Karen was awarded Most Improved Neighbor. The trophy was a glittery garden gnome holding a clipboard. Karen laughed, a real full laugh. She stood up, raised the gnome, and said, I accept this honor on behalf of all the misunderstood enforcers of property order. Tom clapped first, then everyone followed. Even Max wagged his tail. Chapter 58, Trouble Brews Elsewhere. Just when Willow Bend thought peace had finally taken root, news arrived from across the county. An HOA in Maple Hollow had collapsed under mismanagement. Chaos reigned. Overgrown lawns, inflatable reindeer in May, flags from multiple planets. Their board? Dissolved. And their president? A name Karen recognized. Victoria Steele. She was moving. Guess where? Chapter 59. Victoria returns. Amanda opened her door and nearly dropped her tea. "Hello again," said Victoria, suitcase in hand, wearing her signature gray. "I'm joining the Willow Bend community." Tom, when informed, dropped his coffee. "Karen," she simply smiled. "I guess the past has redecorated." Chapter 60. The setup for the final battle. Victoria didn't waste time. She bought the house with the largest front yard. She started attending meetings. She started talking about structure. She started asking about open board seats. Karen stared at the bulletin board. A sign-up sheet for the HOA election was freshly posted. Karen walked up, took a pen, and paused, then slowly turned to Tom. "Should we run together?" Chapter 61. The Unthinkable Alliance. When Karen proposed running with Tom as co-presidents, the entire HOA board froze. Amanda dropped her pen. Diane whispered, "I need a drink." Tom blinked. "You want to run with me?" Karen nodded. "Two heads, one clipboard." "Are we still calling it a clipboard?" Tom asked. Karen replied, "It's metaphorical now." Tom sighed. Max barked. Amanda said, "Honestly, I'm kind of into this chaos." The alliance was formed. Chapter 62. The campaign begins. Their campaign slogan? Balance the block. Tom, the heart. Karen, the structure. They made a joint video. Tom talked about kindness. Karen read bylaws with jazz music in the background. People were confused and intrigued. Their merch? A t-shirt showing a flagpole and a clipboard shaking hands. Chapter 63. Victoria Strikes Back. Victoria, now fully moved in, announced her candidacy with a flyer that simply read, "Because uniformity never goes out of style." She wore charcoal gray to every meeting, hosted neutral color theory seminars, and began courting the old guard, the residents who missed the quiet order of Karen 1.0. She even revived the Traditional Values Committee, now called the Clean Slate Coalition. Karen scoffed. "That's just fascism with better fonts." Chapter 64. Debates, Part 1. The HOA held 3 debates leading up to the vote. At debate number 1, Tom brought cookies. Karen brought a laser pointer. Victoria brought a printed graph titled Visual Harmony versus Property Value. Victoria said, "Flags breed division." Karen replied, "You breed flag anxiety." Tom added, "We just want everyone to feel at home." The crowd clapped. Victoria smiled coldly. "And what if feeling at home means letting your neighbor paint their mailbox neon green?" Tom, "Then offer them lemonade and sunglasses." Crowd loses it. Chapter 65. The dirty tricks. Soon, shady things began happening. Someone spray-painted clipboard clowns on the clubhouse wall. Tom's flag went missing again. Max received anonymous mail, a squeaky toy shaped like a gavel. Tom laughed it off. Karen? Not so much. "We are being politically sabotaged," she growled, reactivating her clipboard of doom. Tom, now decorated with flower stickers and a tiny bell. Amanda sighed. She's back. Chapter 66. The Debate, Part 2. The Roast Battle. The HOA agreed to a lighthearted format for debate number 2. The Roast Debate. Victoria refused to participate. Karen volunteered to MC. Karen. Tom once asked if a bylaws clause was a pasta dish. Xiaoqin. Tom. Karen once cited her own Facebook post as legal precedent. The room was howling. Then Amanda stood and said, "The only person Victoria's ever hugged is a fern." Even the fern looked offended. Chapter 67, The Big Reveal. During a routine HOA paperwork audit, Amanda stumbled upon something shocking. Victoria had drafted a new HOA charter, one that included flag ban reinstatement, maximum lawn height of 2.25 inches, weekly inspections, and worst of all, HOA president serves for 4-year terms. No limits. Amanda called an emergency meeting. Tom read the document aloud. Karen turned red. From rage, not embarrassment. "She's trying to crown herself HOA queen," she shouted. Even Diane stood and said, "That's dictatorship with mulch." Chapter 68, The Town Hall Showdown. Victoria showed up, unapologetic. "This community has drifted," she said. "I came to bring it back." Karen stood. "I used to be like you, obsessed with order, allergic to creativity. I once fined a man for having an inflatable Santa in November." Gasps. Karen continued, "But I've seen the light, and it's full of flags, pink flamingos, and weird gnomes." Tom added, "You can't plant roots if you're pulling up every flower you don't recognize." Standing ovation. Victoria left in silence. Again. Chapter 69. The Final Vote. Election day came. People lined up wearing team shirts, clipboard and coffee, Team Tom and Karen. Cement the Standard, Team Victoria. Max wore a vest that said, "Vote for Snacks," which was, honestly, the most bipartisan platform. The votes were counted. The results? Tom and Karen 68%, Victoria 29%, spoiled ballots, someone voted for Max, 3%. Karen high-fived Tom. Tom hugged Karen. Max got extra treats. Chapter 70, Order with Personality. With their joint presidency underway, changes came quickly, but joyfully. A flag garden was added behind the clubhouse. A new HOA motto was painted above the bulletin board. Structured freedom, decorated peace. Karen started a YouTube channel, Coffee and Covenants. Tom started hosting grill and grievance sessions every Friday. And Victoria? She moved to a gated community, without flags, without flamingos, without Max. Chapter 71. The Interview Request. It began with a ping in Tom's inbox. Subject: Feature Opportunity, National Suburb Life Magazine. The email was from a journalist who had seen the viral HOA transformation, from flag feuds to flamingo tolerance, and wanted to do a full feature spread. Tom wasn't sure. Karen, however, was already planning outfit changes. "This is our redemption arc," she said. Amanda muttered, "It's your rebrand tour, and you know it." Chapter 72. The Photo Shoot. The photographer arrived on a bright Saturday morning. Karen dressed in a structured coral blouse, clutching a gold-trimmed clipboard for visual balance. Tom wore jeans and held Max like a furry campaign mascot. They posed in front of the community mural, beneath the joint flagpole, next to the HOA suggestion box, now decorated with rainbow stickers. The article was titled, "The HOA That Chose Peace and Pancakes." Karen cried reading it. Tom brought pancakes to the next board meeting in celebration. Chapter 73, The Call from Highgrove. 2 days after the article went live, a representative from our Highgrove court called. Highgrove, the most exclusive, tightly regulated HOA in the state, a place where lawns were laser-leveled and fence colors had Pantone codes. Their president? Camilla Bancroft. She wanted to meet Karen and Tom. "We're intrigued by your new approach," she said, voice dripping with elegance and threat. Karen was starstruck. Tom was wary. Amanda just said, "Oh no." Chapter 74. The Invitation. Camilla invited them to Highgrove's annual HOA summit. Karen immediately started packing, matching folders, a presentation on forgiveness and fences, a custom clipboard holster Tom packed, a second pair of socks, jerky. Max Amanda offered to come as strategic eye-roll consultant. Chapter 75. Welcome to Highgrove. The gates opened like a fortress. Their car was inspected. Their shoes were noted. Their flagpole questioned. Highgrove was immaculate and terrifying. Every bush was symmetrical, every driveway identical. Karen whispered, "It's beautiful." Tom muttered, "It's Stepford." They were escorted into a marble-floored HOA boardroom that looked like it could host UN negotiations. Camilla entered like royalty. Chapter 76. The Real Reason. After pleasantries, Camilla got serious. "We admire what you've done, but not because we agree with it." Karen blinked. "Oh," Camilla continued, "you've diffused rebellion, tamed noise. You got people to comply willingly." Tom leaned forward. "We didn't tame anyone. We listened." Camilla smiled. "Exactly. And now we want to study your methods. Then, adjust them." Amanda whispered, "Run." Chapter 77. The Offer. Camilla offered Karen a consulting contract, a 5-figure retainer, HOA speaking engagements nationwide, a book deal, from citations to celebrations. Tom watched Karen's eyes widen. Karen looked to Tom, then Amanda, then Max. She said, "I need time." Camilla's smile did not reach her eyes. "Of course, but opportunities have expiration dates." Chapter 78. Karen's Dilemma. Back home, Karen was conflicted. "Camilla represents everything I once wanted," she told Amanda. "Order, respect, fear-based compliance." "And now?" Amanda asked. Karen sighed. "Now, I kind of like our weird little block." She looked out the window, where Raoul had installed a motion-activated disco flamingo. Karen didn't even twitch. Progress. Pataner! Chapter 79. The Decision. At the next board meeting, Tom made an announcement. "Karen has declined the Highgrove offer." Gasps. Karen stood. "I realized something. You don't fix a community by forcing silence. You fix it by listening to the noise and dancing to it when you can." Applause, Amanda added, "and maybe by banning casserole messages again." Laughter. Karen smirked. "Fine, but only if I get to keep the clipboard." Uplifting. Chapter 80. Max Gets the Last Word. The magazine published a follow-up article. The HOA Whisperers, How a Dog, a Firefighter, and a Former Tyrant Rewrote the Rulebook. Max's picture was on the cover. Tom rolled his eyes. Karen framed it. Amanda added a sticky note. "Still more qualified than most HOA presidents." Chapter 81. The Invitation. It arrived in a sleek navy envelope with gold foil letters. National HOA Congress, 2025. You're invited as featured speakers. Tom dropped his sandwich. Karen squealed. Amanda asked, "Wait, is this a thing? A real thing?" It was. A 3-day event in Dallas. 2,000 HOA leaders. Workshops like curb appeal psychology, fences where love and law ends, crisis management, inflatable overload. Karen was already packing highlighters. Chapter 82. Getting Ready. Karen drafted a 42-slide presentation titled, From Flag Fiasco to Functional Family, the Willow Bend Case Study. Tom edited it down to 12 slides. Max had a custom vest made, HOA Emotional Support Mascot. Amanda printed buttons that said, "Ask me about my flag policy." They were ready, mostly. Chapter 83. Arrival at HOA Con. The convention center was massive. Banners hung like presidential campaigns. One read, "Order is Opportunity." Another, "Neighborhood Watch, the Real Avengers." Tom took a deep breath. "I already regret this." Karen, meanwhile, was networking at hyperspeed. Within 20 minutes, she'd collected 38 business cards, been offered a book deal, joined a clipboard swap group. Amanda texted Tom. "We lost her to the HOA matrix." Chapter 84. Workshops and Weirdos. They attended a workshop called Flag Moderation, Balancing Patriotism and Taste. Tom asked, "What if taste is subjective?" The speaker blinked. "It isn't." Karen attended, clipboard feng shui. She left looking spiritually renewed. Amanda wandered into the color theory for enforcement vehicles. She left after 5 minutes. It was just beige on beige on beige. Chapter 85, The Panel of Doom. Tom and Karen took the main stage. Their panel, Rehabilitation and Rebranding, when control turns collaborative. Tom opened warmly. Karen spoke passionately. Max barked once, perfectly timed after a joke. The crowd laughed, clapped, nodded. Then came the Q&A. A man from Phoenix asked, "How do you manage anarchists who paint flamingos gold?" Karen smiled. "You join them." Mic drop. Chapter 86, A Mysterious Woman. After the panel, a sharply dressed woman approached. Her name, Eloise Payne. Position, Director of National HOA Strategy and Innovation. "Your methods," she said to Karen, "are disruptive." "Thank you," Karen replied. "We're monitoring your influence. You're popular, uncomfortably so." She handed Karen a card. No title, no contact, just a symbol. Amanda later whispered, "That's the secret HOA police, I swear." Chapter 87, The Golden Clipboard Award. That night was the gala. Karen didn't win. Tom did. For most unexpectedly effective president. Karen clapped, genuinely. Tom held up the golden clipboard trophy and said, "This is for anyone who's ever been fined for planting a sunflower 6 inches too close to the sidewalk." Thunderous applause. Karen mouthed, "That was beautiful." Max sneezed. Chapter 88, A Rumor Spreads. The next day, whispers filled the conference. "Did you hear? Willow Bend might be franchising. They're starting a flag-friendly zone initiative." Karen was seen offering emotional support to a lawn gnome. Karen denied all three, but secretly, she was brainstorming. Tom caught her writing HOA Harmony Academy in her planner. Chapter 89, The Flight Home. On the plane, Amanda snored. Tom read HOA News Monthly. Karen stared out the window, soft smile on her face. "Never thought I'd say this," she murmured, "but I'm proud of us." Tom nodded. "Even with the flamingos?" Karen chuckled. "Especially because of them." Max barked softly in agreement. Chapter 90, Home Again, Forever. Weird. Back in Willow Bend, neighbors greeted them with homemade signs, a flag parade, a limited edition welcome mat that said, "Home of the HOA Legends and Max." Karen took a long look at her block. Curtains didn't match. Flags danced freely, and someone had painted their mailbox like a watermelon. She exhaled. Perfect. "Tuyet voy. Doi jai la fan den, fan koi kung, tu kwang 45,000 Winsjen Femisitashunan. Gua Truyen, the Flag Snatcher, HOA Karen, and the Great Banner Blunder. Jai la hoi ketsuch jong, hai hook, vajai duvicho han trin, stu chong kuaban, tu toi jo hoa, jen bu tuong tai, joy trong chong jong. The Flag Snatcher, HOA Karen, and the Great Banner. Blunder Part 10, The Legacy of Lawn and Liberty. Chapter 91, The Community Archive. With all the attention Willow Bend had received, Amanda suggested creating a permanent space to preserve its colorful history. They cleaned out the old tool shed behind the clubhouse and turned it into the Willow Bend Museum of HOA Evolution items on display. Tom's original North Carolina flag, with Karen's fingerprint still on it. A replica of the Golden Clipboard Award. The flamingo that once played disco at 2 a.m. Karen's first warning letter, signed in glitter ink. A plaque outside read, "Here lies the proof that flags can fly, neighbors can change, and even a clipboard can learn empathy." Chapter 92, Karen's New Hobby. Karen stepped down from co-president duties, claiming she was too emotionally involved with begonias now. Her new passion? Artisanal sidewalk chalking. Every week she decorated random driveways with kind messages. "Your lawn looks delightful." "That gnome? Iconic." "We're all weird here, and that's okay." People loved it, except one guy named Dennis who didn't like color. Karen left him a chalk drawing of a grayscale HOA logo. Even he chuckled. Chapter 93, The School Visit. Amanda arranged for Karen and Tom to speak at the local middle school about community leadership. A student raised their hand. "Were you really the bad guy?" Karen paused. "I thought I was the hero," she said honestly, "but I confused rules with righteousness. Until someone showed me that it's okay to be wrong, as long as you grow." Tom added, "Also, document everything, especially your flagpole." The kids laughed. The teachers cried. Chapter 94, The Proposal. No, not romantic. Tom proposed a new annual holiday for Willowben. Neighbor Day, July 14th, the day Karen first stole a flag and triggered a local revolution. Events included flag decorating contests, cite your neighbor trivia games, Max-themed cupcakes. Karen led a workshop, The Art of Apology and Lemon Bars. Chapter 95, HOA Legends, the board game. A local designer released a board game inspired by their story, HOA Legends. The game of fines and forgiveness player roles included the rule maker, the rule breaker, the bystander with a secret agenda, the dog that knows everything. Karen bought 12 copies. Tom tried to win once. Max ate 2 cards. Chapter 96. Letters from around the country. Thanks to the magazine and podcast features, letters poured in from HOAs nationwide. Messages like, "We showed our board your story. Now we have a garden. I used to be a Karen. Now I'm just Karen. Can Max run for mayor?" Karen read every letter. Tom kept them in a binder titled, Proof That Flags Matter. Chapter 97. Karen and the Kite. One windy afternoon, Karen decided to fly a kite. Something she'd never done before. It tangled, fell, tangled again. Tom watched her struggle. Finally, it lifted into the air, soaring high. Karen laughed. "That felt freeing," Tom smiled. "No clipboard required." Karen looked up at the kite, fluttering beside the neighborhood flags. "Maybe next year we add a kite category to Neighbor Day." Tom nodded. "As long as it's not beige." Chapter 98, One Last Complaint. One morning, the board received a complaint form. Anonymous, sloppily written. It read, "Someone keeps painting rocks and hiding them in my tulips. It's joyful. Please make it stop." Signed, concerned, but amused. Resident Karen raised her hand sheepishly. "I may have started the Kindness Rock project." Tom laughed. Amanda high-fived her. They decided to frame the complaint. Chapter 99, Full Circle. Exactly 1 year after the first flag incident, Tom and Karen walked the block together. They passed a yard with 5 flags, a driveway with chalk doodles, a mailbox with solar lights shaped like ducks. Karen sighed contentedly. "It's perfect." Tom added, "Because it's not." They stood at the base of the flagpole, now shared by the state flag, HOA flag, and a third flag that just said, "Still Standing." Chapter 100, The Final Line. As the sun set over Willowben, kids chased each other past whirligigs and tulips. A breeze lifted flags across every house. Karen stood with Amanda and Tom, holding Max in her arms. She looked around, eyes a little misty. "This place used to be orderly," she said. "Now it's alive." Tom smiled. "It's always been alive. We just stopped trying to silence it." And with that, Karen took one last look at the old clipboard hanging on the museum wall and whispered, "Let it wave."